Hi, I'm EJ Williams for American Humane. For thousands of years, dogs have been our best friends in our worst times. Today, we're also learning that our best friends, millions of whom are abandoned each year, are often the best medicine when people are facing obstacles. To help both people and animals, organizations like American Humane have been working to harness the healing power of the human-animal bond, finding animals in need of forever homes and training them as life-saving service and therapy dogs to help our veterans, the elderly, and children overcome the daily obstacles of life. In this way, the rescued can become the rescuers. To find out how you can help give animals and the people they help a new leash on life, please visit AmericanHumane.org.
This is Logan City Police Chief Gary Jensen. Scammers are continuing to target people in the Cache Valley. Fraudsters often threaten with arrest, withholding medical care for loved ones, or offer to sell or purchase items at discounted or inflated prices. Many of these scams often involve third-party gift cards or other money-exchanging services. If you receive an offer or are threatened like this with immediate punishment unless you comply, hang up and call the police to report it. Please do not become a victim.
News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KBNU.
KBNU News Time is 4:06. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by Northern Steel Buildings. A 25-year-old Ogden man was arrested Thursday for allegedly threatening to kill a woman and holding her against her will, according to police. Miguel Trinidad Tovar was taken into custody by U.S. Marshals in Murray and transferred back to the Cache County Jail. Logan City Police Captain Curtis Hooley said the crimes reportedly occurred on January 9th, 2021, while Tovar and the alleged victim were allegedly staying at an Airbnb in Logan. The woman told police how Tovar became upset with her and brandished a gun, claiming she had cheated on him. He pointed it at her and threatened to kill her. She tried to calm him down until he fell asleep, but he later woke up and threatened her with another firearm, saying he was going to kill her and others. No shots were ever fired. Hooley said a lengthy investigation followed as police gathered further evidence. The case was later turned over to the Cache County Attorney's Office. Prosecutors filed criminal charges against Tovar, including aggravated kidnapping, a first-degree felony, stalking, a second-degree felony, possession of a dangerous weapon, aggravated assault, and domestic violence in the presence of a child, along with a misdemeanor threat of violence. A judge issued a warrant for Tovar's arrest on October 24th. Jail records show Tovar is being held without bail and is scheduled to be arraigned in First District Court today. He could face up to life in prison if convicted. KBNU News Time is 4:08. KBNU weather for tonight, a good chance of rain in our forecast for this evening. And then rain mixed with snow Tuesday morning, and then rain in the afternoon. The overnight low tonight around 30, and the high tomorrow in the lower 40s. It's 36 right now at KBNU. KBNU weather brought to you by Logan Extermination. They will hang your Christmas lights for you. They will do it quickly and affordable. Call Logan Extermination at 752-8450.
We might all agree that a vacation to Vegas is good, but Hawaii is better. Same thing when you're building. Wood is good, but metal is better. If you're considering a new building for your farm or business, let Northern Steel Building show you the benefits of metal. Metal is stronger with little or no maintenance, and it doesn't burn. Find out how affordable a metal building really is by visiting northernsteelbuilding.com. That's northernsteelbuilding.com, or call 435-677-7300.
KBNU News Time is 4:09. Ballots need to be postmarked by today or dropped off in person on Election Day, November 8th by 8 p.m. in a drop box or the Cache County Clerk's office. On the ballot is a chance to renew the RAPS tax, which stands for Recreation, Arts, Parks, and Zoo. On KBNU's For the People program this past Friday, Executive Director of the Cache Valley Center for the Arts, Wendy Hassan, talked about the importance of the arts.
We had a secret shopper, a tourism secret shopper, come about 10 years ago, and he said that the most compelling thing for tourists were our arts and our parks. And I think that's not a mistake, since we've certainly been investing in that now for 20 years.
Hassan grew up along the Wasatch Front and said she chose to live here because of the emphasis on the arts.
And my children have had more access to both arts and recreation here than I had growing up on the Wasatch Front. And I worked at the State Arts Council for 5 years, and they got a little tired of me saying, "Oh, you should see how we do it in Cache Valley." I would put us up against any community in the world for the quality of our artists, the beauty of our parks, the beauty of our venues, the sponsors that support us, the audience members that come, the student athletes that do both arts and recreation. I haven't seen its match anywhere.
The RAPS tax needs to be renewed by voters every 10 years. And as Election Day quickly approaches, the race between incumbent Senator Mike Lee and independent challenger Evan McMullin has moved into its final stages, with both candidates remaining busy heading into the final weekend last week. And much at stake. With just days to go, the latest polls show the candidates within just a few percentage points of each other, and voter turnout may be the key. Lee was warmly welcomed in southern Utah last Thursday, where he brought in some star power with fellow conservative and TV radio talk show host Glenn Beck. The senator also made stops throughout more rural areas of the state, including Mount Pleasant and Gunnison, where he addressed concerns about health care and schools at Coach B's Pizza. Meanwhile, McMullin and his wife Emily turned in their ballots in Utah County on Friday. Afterwards, the challenger addressed supporters who had gathered outside the polling site in Provo. KBNU News Time is 4:12. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
Local news and the best talk. News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Evan McMullin says he's independent. The Democrat Party knows he's not.
Cheers rang loud after Utah Democrats reached a decision
to join Evan McMullin.
Democrats chose to back him.
Why are Biden's allies pulling out all the stops to elect McMullin? Because he'd do their bidding in the Senate. Conservatives know he's a Democrat in disguise, but sometimes his mask slips. His positions on issues match the Democrat platform. He wants to weaken the filibuster, backed Biden's radical Supreme Court nominee, attacked police budgets, supported reckless spending, more debt. He's just another Biden liberal, even campaigned to make him president.
I plan to cast my vote for Joe. Imagine the America we can have.
Imagine the damage after 2 more years of a Democrat Senate giving Biden free rein. Utah can stop him if we stop McMullin first. Crypto Freedom PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising. Paid for by Crypto Freedom PAC. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. 202-971-1316.
When it comes to your health and deadly diseases, your body doesn't always give warning signs. You won't see a big, bright alert button above your head or hear some upbeat notification jingle when something's not right. Fortunately, there's something you can do to protect yourself and stay healthy now and into the future. Schedule your health screenings and immunizations to stay up to date on your well-being. Visit uptodate.utah.gov to learn more.
For the people.
We are waiting with bated breath for news from the Cache Republican Party meeting an executive committee tonight.
With Jason Williams.
And I'm really excited about this next segment. We have 2 guests here in studio. We're going to talk about something that we've talked about many times here on the show, but from a bit of a different angle.
Weekday afternoons from 4 till 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People. It is Tuesday, Monday. It is Monday.
It could be, it's Tuesday somewhere in the world.
It is Monday, November 7th. I think my brain here is saying Tuesday, Election Day, and I just jumped ahead of myself there. but that is still true. Tomorrow is Election Day. Just a quick reminder. In fact, if it were me, I mean, technically, I think most post offices are still open here, so you could still walk it in and hand it to a person and even say, will my ballot be postmarked today, just to make sure. I know there are some mail drops around the valley, the drive-up sort, that have a time on them. It'll tell you when the last pickup is. All of that, though, is going to put your ballot at risk, honestly. So were it me at this point, I would not mail my ballot today. The cutoff is 5 p.m., 45 minutes from now, and in most places. And if your ballot is not postmarked November 7th, it's null and void. The other reason I wouldn't mail it is because of that risk. In addition, drop boxes are everywhere. It would actually be as easy to drive up to a drop box and drop your ballot off right now than to take the risk of dropping it in the mail. So this late in the day, on the final day to have it postmarked, I would myself find one of these drop box locations. They are at every city hall throughout the valley. There's one between the library and Logan City Hall, just blocks away from us here. There's one behind the county admin building that is drive up, just blocks away from us here, where they have the farmers market every Saturday through the summer. There's one at your city hall, regardless of where you're listening from. That is state law. They're bolted to the ground. They are secure. They're easy to get to. And so were it me, I wouldn't drop it in a mailbox now. You're taking a risk. I would drop it in a drop box where you know it will be picked up by the clerk's office and counted. If you're uncomfortable doing that, hold on to it until tomorrow and take it in person to the clerk's office on Election Day. You can't do that today, but you can do that on Election Day tomorrow. So clerk's office opens at 8. Polls close at 8 p.m. tomorrow night, so you can drop your ballot in a drop box up until 8 p.m. anywhere throughout the valley. And then right at 8 p.m., they'll be there at 8 p.m. At 8 p.m. when polls close, they lock the slot, so you can't drop more ballots in. They take what's in there out in the secure transportation vehicles and head to the county clerk's office, and the counting begins. I know a lot of people have been asking. Utah's not facing what a lot of other states are facing, in that we've been voting by mail for more than 12 years now, almost 13 if you count the 2 pilot programs that ran in the municipal races for voting by mail. It's been 13 years here in Utah, 12 years that it's been a statewide thing. We pretty much got it down to a science at this point, so I wouldn't expect a lot of delay in knowing how these races shake up tomorrow night. I would guess most races, including the county executive race, the race between Belmont and Johnson in the 4th District here in central Cache Valley, the congressional race, I would guess we know by 9, maybe at latest 10 p.m. tomorrow night, how those races have turned out. With again, nothing is official until the count is certified in the official canvass, which will be about 2 weeks from this week statewide. So nothing is official until then. But usually, especially here in Utah or any state where you have a supermajority that's so predictable, the margins will be large enough that when they look at the number of outstanding ballots that they haven't counted yet, or some they haven't received yet, because there's a little bit more of a window for those in the military, for example, voting overseas. Ballots that are postmarked today, people that dropped them off earlier today, for whatever reason, those might not arrive until Friday. So they'll still be counting ballots throughout the week and then begin the canvassing process next week. But usually the margin is so vast between the two candidates, the Republican and whoever the challenger is, here in Utah as a predictably Republican state. The margin is usually large enough that you can look at the outstanding ballots, even the likely outstanding ballots, and say, we know who the winner is. So I'm guessing 9 at the latest 10 p.m. tomorrow night we'll know the outcome of most of these races. One that we might not is the United States Senate race. If you've been following this one, the polling is kind of all over the place. Both campaigns have released internal polls over the last several months showing them double digits ahead of their opponent. They only release the polls that make them look good. That's how campaigns work. Most of the independent polls outside of the campaigns that have been done by pollsters within Utah and outside of Utah have showed a single-digit race with occasionally McMullen in the lead, occasionally Lee in the lead. And one thing I've said throughout, so in late September, early October, most pollsters switch to their likely voter polls, where they start polling who they, through their own likely voter screen, it's called, they develop internally, and these are secrets. These pollsters keep the methodology behind determining a likely voter versus a registered voter secret, because that's their secret sauce. If they get it right and no one else does, they don't want anyone to steal how they got it right as far as likely voters. Here's my one prediction I'll make for this United States Senate race, and I would stake my reputation on this. The only people who are going to get this right in the polling are the ones that did so by sheer luck, because no one knows for sure what a likely voter in a race like this is. It has been a generation almost since there was a competitive United States Senate race in Utah. And remember, United States Senate races are statewide. They're not a single congressional district. So we have had some competitive federal races, especially in Utah's 4th District. Ben McAdams and Mia Love, then Ben McAdams and Burgess Owens. Then, of course, redistricting happened, and Republican lawmakers made sure no competitive race will ever happen again in a congressional district here in Utah. So that's gone the way of the dodo. We'll still see some competitive races in Utah, House and Senate races, but the congressional races are solidly Republican at this point for another generation. This was a surprise to see the United States Senate race in Utah become competitive. So you have to give Evan McMullen, whether you like him or not, you have to give him credit for that. Or maybe, if you want to say it this way instead, maybe Mike Lee brought this on himself. With some of his, the Captain Moroni comment wasn't popular here in Utah, comparing Trump to Captain Moroni. His endorsement by Trump, both in the primary and then again here in the general election, has proven to be a bit of baggage for him. That actually hasn't polled well. That's why Mike Lee isn't. Have you heard Mike Lee say he's endorsed by Trump? No, he's keeping that one pretty quiet. McMullen, on the other hand, is making sure everybody knows he's endorsed by Trump. Maybe Mike Lee brought this on himself. The tell me what I should be saying texts to the White House Chief of Staff. Sidney Powell has some good ideas. That was another comment. And I teased him about that, by the way, while he was here in the studio. Off air, so I can't repeat the conversation. But he maybe brought it on himself. Or maybe Evan McMullen is just that strong of a candidate. I don't know. Either way, this is a competitive race. It likely will be in the single digits. Although, if I had to make a prediction, I would say Senator Mike Lee by 7, 8, maybe 9. Not 10. Maybe 10. I don't know. I think it stays single digits. But I do think Lee wins. But the polling is mixed. So I could be really wrong. And Evan McMullen could pull it off by 7, 8, or 9, or 1 or 2. Either way, my point here is this race is going to be within single digits. If it's in low single digits, 1 or 2, there will be demands for a recount. Absolutely. There is a state threshold also for recounting if it's that close, which I think is under 1%, or maybe it's 1.5%. If it's under that, it's an automatic recount. But either way, there is a chance that we don't know the winner of the United States Senate race for a week or 2 at worst. So be prepared for that. I know that's going to make all of our heads explode. I don't think it's likely that we have to wait that long, but I think it probably is likely that nobody, like all the other races, is confident calling at 9, 10 o'clock tonight. And the way this usually works in Utah is we get a big vote result dump from the county clerks. Then they go to bed. And then we get another dump in the morning or late afternoon tomorrow. And then they go home. And then we get another dump on Wednesday or on Thursday. And so it could be a few days. If this race is as close as the polling implies, the polling averages, I should say, imply, it could be a day or two before we start to see it really takes shape on who's in the lead. Again, I would say odds are against that. Odds are in favor of a Mike Lee win by single digits, but still decisive, and that we know that tonight. But this is the first time that it's at least a very real possibility that a statewide race in Utah for a federal representative is close enough that we go to bed tonight not knowing, and maybe even go to bed tomorrow night or Wednesday night without not knowing. So steel yourself for that. Otherwise, I think we'll know by 9, 10 o'clock tomorrow night. And, of course, as soon as that big vote result dump comes from the clerk's office, we'll have it here on KVNU and CashValleyDaily.com. Coming up in hour 2, we will revisit our time with Senator Mike Lee and Evan McMullen, the independent candidate in this federal race for United States Senate, and some highlights. We asked them both a couple of the same questions. They were with us about 3 weeks apart in the studio, and we asked them both a few similar questions so that we could get some contrast. One of those questions was, what are you hearing? Not what do you think as the candidate or as the your campaign handlers have told you to say. What are you hearing from voters on how this race has taken shape? Are they do they like you both? Are you hearing? Now, of course, both candidates are going to say, of course. But what are the issues voters seem to care about most? Interesting responses from both candidates. We'll get to that in hour 2. Hour 1 continues, though, right after this.
This is Ryan at My Mattress. We've teamed up with Ridgeline High School Booster Club to bring you the mattress warehouse sale of the year. November 11th and 12th at Ridgeline High School. My Mattress, Maloof, and Serenoni will have truckloads of mattresses, mattress protectors, sheets, pillows, accessories, Serenoni blankets, and more at blowout, rock-bottom prices. Don't miss this chance for blowout pricing from My Mattress, Maloof, and Serenoni. November 11th and 12th at the Ridgeline High School Mattress Warehouse Sale.
I'm Larry Gelwicks, the getaway guru for Morris Columbus Travel and Princess Cruises with the biggest cruise promotion of the year, including free open bar, free Wi-Fi, and free prepaid gratuities. Sail with Princess Cruises and get free. And for the best travel deals on the planet, give us a call at Morris Columbus Travel.
Come on and get away, Morris Columbus.
Did you build a new home? Regardless of how clean your builder was, your ducts will have a variety of construction debris in them. Debris like sawdust, flooring pieces, sheetrock dust, and more. You do not want to move into your home with that debris in the ductwork. Call the Duct Hunter and get on the schedule today. Call the Duct Hunter at 770-4813.
We are the Duct Hunter. Breathe better, save money, protect your home. We are the Duct Hunter.
Does your financial advisor take the time to really listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? When you work with Edward Jones in Cache Valley, they focus on what's important to you. They'll help you create a personalized financial strategy backed by their advice, tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And Edward Jones will partner to help your strategy stay on track, no matter what happens. Call one of the 7 Edward Jones locations in Cache Valley. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology cares about you and your hearing. Dr. Paul Danes has always called Cache Valley home and cares about its people. And Dr. Danes offers state-of-the-art equipment, allowing him to provide the best service and care possible when it comes to your hearing. So if your hearing isn't what it used to be, give Dr. Danes a call at 753-HEAR or visit CacheValleyHearing.com to see what they can do for you.
Bring back what you've been missing. Bring back Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Coming up, Logan City Mayor Holly Danes designated a new not holiday, day of recognition here in Utah, in Cache Valley, and we'll talk about what this means. But it's an official proclamation of what is kind of a national trend these days to, I was going to say as a counter to Black Friday, but and I guess that's fair, but it was more of a recognition of Black Friday, why it's such a popular shopping holiday, although there's some debate over that too. Are the deals actually deals? Occasionally, but usually not. But you do get some, I got some real cheap socks last year. So, that's great, right? Was it worth going out and braving those crowds? I don't know. Either way.
How long did the socks last?
Still got them.
Oh, okay.
Still got them. So, yeah,
you go.
They were smart wool, and they're great socks, and especially in this kind of weather. But even when it's hot, if you do a little hiking, it was well worth the line I stood in to get them for 80% off. But outside of that, I spent a lot of money on things I didn't need that probably weren't that on sale. But it's fun, and I think that's why a lot of people go. But obviously it's a big corporate holiday. It's a big chain holiday. It's a big, everyone's beating down the doors of these large, multi-state retail chains. And that's fine because that's where the deals are, and that's where most of us shop on a weekly basis anyway. So not knocking that at all. But there was this movement kind of grew out of this where people wanted to recognize that, these local businesses should get your attention too. A store that only exists here in Cache Valley or only exists in Logan. Or if you're listening on the other side of the hill, it's only, it's not a chain. It's something that's only in downtown Brigham or along the loop there in Perry or in Ogden or over in Rich County. They should get some Black Friday love, right? And so there was a movement to kind of get that happening, and it fizzled quickly because... Well, I mean, let's be honest. These local retail outlets and service providers and food stores, food chains even that might just be regional, they can't compete with the advertising budget for Black. I mean, Walmart started running Black Friday ads on their app in September. I marked it on my calendar because I knew we were going to be talking about it eventually. But I put a note on that day, and then it's just stuck in my head because I wrote the note. The official first Black Friday ad. It was September 27th when I opened the app for some reason, and that popped up on the home screen. So, no local store, single brick and mortar store, or even regional chain is going to be able to compete with that advertising budget. So what started to happen is instead of trying to incorporate small business, local business recognition into Black Friday, there is still that reminder. While you're out, make a point to support your local retail chains or your non-chain local stores. And that's, while you're out, a great idea. But what's become a thing of the last probably 4 or 5 years is the next day, Saturday, after Black Friday. So this would be Saturday, November 26th, as Small Business Saturday. And the idea behind this, of course, is to, as a second shopping holiday, and then we all know that the Monday after Black Friday is Cyber Monday, which I don't even know if that should be a thing anymore. It's basically prop up Amazon even more, and they don't really need us to in the first place day. But there are some good deals out there, especially on electronics at Newegg and things like that. So this is a 3-day event of shopping and excess spending. Make Small Business Saturday a part of it is the request from Logan City Mayor Holly Daines. She did this through an official proclamation. Now, it's been celebrated by Logan City several years in a row, but an official proclamation now exists that November 26th, the day after Black Friday, Saturday, November 26th, is Small Business Saturday. This was discussed during the November 1st regular meeting of the Logan City Council, and Mayor Daines said in describing the proclamation and reading it that she was urging, and Logan City at large is urging all Logan residents, Valley residents including, to support local small businesses and merchants on Saturday following the Thanksgiving holiday. So Thanksgiving, Black Friday, then Saturday is Small Business Saturday. And she said she wanted to make it an official observance of the city through proclamation because the city, she said, needed to more celebrate and support local small businesses and the contributions they make to the economy and the community. She said that 58% of American consumers reported that they shopped at an independently owned retailer on Small Business Saturday last year. And 54% through retail data said that they had dined or ordered takeout intentionally from a small restaurant or local bar or cafe on Small Business Saturday last year, 2021. So Mayor Daines said that she wanted to make this an official part of annual traditions and days of recognition through Logan City with this proclamation, because this is the single day in 2021 was a $23.3 billion day for small businesses and restaurants. That might not be a huge day. It'll pale in comparison to the retail haul of the big chains and box stores on Black Friday, the 25th. But a $23.3 billion industry, or a $23.3 billion day for small businesses, independent restaurants, cafes, bars, and more, that is huge. That one day, if enough people go out and do this here in Cache Valley, that one day could literally mean the difference between whether that independently owned restaurant, bar, retail outlet, whatever it is there next year. That was the message from small business owners through the Cache Chamber of Commerce, saying, that really could make the difference, and showing some love and recognition, Mayor Daines said, for their contribution to our local economy and our local communities and cultures is as important, if not more important, than the deals on Black Friday. So it's an official proclamation. This will be recognized by the city officially now. And some interesting data. Charlie Schill has written this up for CacheValleyDaily.com, and I've linked to it on our Facebook page. But check it out. Here's some tidbits from Charlie's story. Across America, there are 32.5 million small businesses. Small business defined by the U.S. Small Business Administration and the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics as under 250 employees. Those businesses represent 99.7% of U.S. employers. And, the Small Business Administration says those enterprises represent 99.7% of U.S. employers and employ 47% of all paid workers. Small businesses also responsible for creating 62% of every new job since 1995. And independent local businesses, retail, food services, bars, cafes, coffee shops, all that, the very small of the small, those with 50 or fewer employees, make up 98% of U.S. retail. Again, that coming from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. We don't think about it that way, right? Because we go to these big box stores, we shop on Amazon, we go to the chain supermarkets and chain retail outlets in the local mall or something like that. And you would assume, because of their name, their reputation, their prevalence throughout the country, how easy it is to find one of these retail outlets nationwide, wherever you are. I think most of us then assume, well, that's where all the retail business is being done. That blows me away. Shops and stores with fewer than 50 employees, we're talking the small of the small businesses, 98% of U.S. retail happens at those businesses. That is amazing. And, of course, they contribute more directly back into our community through employment, of course, but also their own reinvestment initiatives, bringing and adding to the culture of Cache Valley in various ways. And, of course, the ripple effect of their existence here brings our local economy up. It's something that can't be overstated. So joining Logan City Mayor Holly Daines in issuing this proclamation, again, marking November 26th, Saturday after Black Friday, as Small Business Saturday, making it official for Logan City. Elected officials in all 50 states jumping on this as well. So Mayor Daines urged Logan residents to shop or eat at small, independently owned businesses all year long, of course, but make it a special focus to get out and do so, not just once, but all day on Saturday, November 26th. Show local businesses and small businesses some love. Go out and open your wallets for them the day after Black Friday. Official proclamation issued November 1st at the City Council meeting by Logan City Mayor Holly Daines. Again, Charlie Schill with the story and some interesting statistics from the Bureau of Labor Statistics in the CashValleyDaily.com story linked on our Facebook page. And we'll be back with more of For the People after the news with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 4:40. The news is brought to you by U&I Furniture. The Utah State University Veterans Resource Office is joining the Cache Valley Veterans Association to invite veterans everywhere to join Veterans Day events at USU. Veterans Day is this Friday, November 11th. Andy Allen, a retired Army Lieutenant Colonel, directs the USU Veterans Resource Office.
Our job is to help service members, veterans, and their families utilize their GI Bill education benefits that they've earned with the VA from their service. And our job is to help them navigate all of the ins and outs of how to know how much GI Bill benefits they have, how to meet all VA requirements to access those benefits, and then how to utilize those benefits to attend school here at USU.
He said that USU Veterans Day events kick off Thursday afternoon at 5 p.m. or 1700 hours for military personnel.
The Air Force ROTC here at Utah State is doing a 24-hour prisoner of war and missing in action vigil. And so for 24 hours here at USU on the quad, there will be airmen who will be conducting that vigil through the night until 5 p.m. on Veterans Day. So that kind of kicks the whole thing off.
Allen said a tribute to veterans will begin at 11:30 Friday morning in front of the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum, followed by a Veterans Day barbecue from noon until 2 p.m. at Legacy Field south of the Spectrum. The barbecue will be free. During the barbecue, USU's College of Education and Human Services will conduct a food drive for veterans. ABC4 TV announced with tremendous sadness the death of their senior crime and justice reporter, Marcus Ortiz. Antonio Marcus Ortiz was 68 and died at his home Saturday morning. According to ABC4, Marcus is survived by his wife of 34 years, Sandy, and his daughter, Olivia. The cause of his sudden death has not yet been determined as of yesterday afternoon. An Emmy award-winning journalist and producer, Ortiz will be best known for his extensive work in shining a light on unsolved crimes across Utah with his Justice Files series and for helping bring awareness to missing persons with Missing in Utah. He was a native of Lovell, Wyoming, and the youngest of 11 children and the son of immigrant parents. His career spanned radio, newspaper, and television. His time began with ABC4 in 2004, but his work in journalism spanned over 30 years, and he's been a fixture in Salt Lake City television since 1992. And Jordan Clarkson scored 23 points. Reserve Colin Sexton added 22, and the Utah Jazz beat the L.A. Clippers 110-102 in L.A. The Jazz rallied after blowing a 10-point lead in the first half and trailing by 6 in the third quarter. Paul George scored 34 points, the third time in 4 games that he topped 30 points, but Los Angeles had its 3-game winning streak snapped. George missed shots down the stretch after the Jazz erased the Clippers' 4-point lead. Lauri Markkanen added 18 points and 9 rebounds for the Jazz, who are second in the Western Conference. And Utah State men's basketball kicks off the season tonight, hosting Utah Valley in the Spectrum. Al Lewis will talk about it in the 6 o'clock hour this evening from 6 to 7, and then we'll be back after the game here on for game day broadcast on KVNU. News time is 4:44.
You'll love the holiday specials and big selection when you shop at UNI Furniture. Got guests coming? How about their best-selling mattress, a Therapeutic Serene featuring a zone coil system, comfy stretch knit top, only $399 for the queen size. For Christmas, a TV? How about 50 different console choices from small to large with or without fireplaces? And over 200 chairs on display, including the best in recliners. They offer free layaway and prices you'll love. A local standard when it comes to furniture. There's always a better buy at UNI Furniture, UNI Downtown Logan.
KVNU weather for tonight, breezy and rain likely this evening. Rain after midnight, low in the mid-30s. South winds 15 to 25 miles an hour, decreasing to 10 to 20. Rain Tuesday morning, rain likely in the afternoon. High temperature in the lower 40s. Earlier today, it was warm, like this morning, around 57. That's been our high. It's all the way down to 35 degrees right now at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by Northern Steel Building. Steel is stronger, more flexible, and more dependable than wood, masonry, and concrete, and steel is often less expensive. See their work online at northernsteelbuilding.com. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com. Let's check Wall Street now with Edward Jones.
This is Tony Smith of Edward Jones bringing you the financial market report on November 7th, 2022. Stocks were broadly higher following a down week and ahead of tomorrow's U.S. midterm elections. There was no specific catalyst behind today's move, as markets have historically experienced strong returns in November and December, especially in midterm election years. Chinese equities added to their recent outperformance, despite officials saying over the weekend that they are sticking with the zero COVID-19 policy. Expectations remain that officials are beginning preparations for the country's reopening, but that is likely at least a few months away. In corporate news, shares of Meta, the parent company of Facebook, were higher on reported plans for job cuts. On the flip side, shares of Apple lagged after the company guided for lower iPhone shipments as COVID-19 restrictions are hindering iPhone productions in China. Today's equities closed higher. The Dow closed up 426 points at 32,829. The Nasdaq closed up 89 points at 10,565, and the S&P closed up 37 points at 3,807. In the bond market, the 10-year Treasury yields are trading at 4.21%. In stocks of local interest, Apple closed up 54 cents at $138.92. Nucor closed up 76 cents at $134.32. Zions Bank up 15 cents at $49.91. Boeing closed up $4.90 at $164.91. In commodity markets, the price of crude oil was down 63 cents at $91.98, and the spot price of gold was up $1.20 to $1,677.80. This has been today's financial market report for November 7th, brought to you on behalf of Edward Jones, member SIPC, serving individual investors with personalized attention and financial advice at 878 South Main Street in Smithfield.
You're in the market to buy a home and dreaming of a new home you can fill with new memories. But homes just aren't in your budget. Or are they? Visionary Homes wants you to know you don't have to buy a used home. Buy new. Buy now with Visionary Homes. As a trusted award-winning Utah home builder, Visionary Homes understands that your home is the center of your life, bringing friends and family together, creating memories you'll cherish forever. Buy new. Buy now. VisionaryHomes.com.
Visionary Homes.
Tuesday edition. It is Election Day at long last. What a show we're going to have for all of you, including President Trump plus Buck.
Breaking down the latest data in the most important races across the country. Are we going to get 52, 53, maybe even 54 Republican Senate seats, or could things break the other way? Clay and I will make sense of the madness. Coming up on Clay and Buck.
10 to 1 on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Coming up in hour 2, we'll give you some highlights of all of our candidate spotlights over the last several months, including our time with Mike Lee and Evan McMullen in the race that's probably getting the most eyeballs, but also local races like Utah House races here in Cache Valley. And that, of course, sort of the surprise of the election season, the county executive race, which has only one candidate on the ballot, and then a write-in campaign. Mark Ensign recruited by 3 council members to run against the county executive. Understandably, fireworks have flown in this one, and we've got some highlights of our time with both candidates in the executive race as well. That's coming up in hour 2 of today's show. Before we get to that, though, this Friday, Election Day kind of overshadowing everything here at the first of the week, I understand, but this Friday is Veterans Day. And in recognition of that, the Utah State University Veterans Resource Office is joining the Cache Valley Veterans Association to invite veterans everywhere for USU's Veterans Day full day of events. With the details, here's Craig.
Well, thanks, Jason. The Utah State University Veterans Resource Office and the Cache Valley Veterans Association partnering to invite veterans everywhere to join Veterans Day events at USU. Many of the events are centered around Veterans Day, which is this Friday, November 11th. USU's Veterans Resource Office Director Andy Allen joins us. Andy is a retired Army Lieutenant Colonel. Andy, first of all, tell us about the work that you all do at the Veterans Resource Office. I'm not sure everybody knows there is such an office on campus.
You bet. Well, it's a great office here on campus. Our job is to help service members, veterans, and their families utilize their GI Bill education benefits that they've earned with the VA from their service. And our job is to help them navigate all of the ins and outs of how to know how much GI Bill benefits they have, how to meet all VA requirements to access those benefits, and then how to utilize those benefits to attend school here at USU.
So basically, men and women, military veterans, now transitioning into civilian life, and that's where you help them further education.
That's correct, and it's not just veterans. Our population is made up of 3 groups: the veterans who previously served and are now no longer serving. And we also have active service members that are both Guard, Reserve, and active duty. And then we have about half of our population are the dependents of those veterans and service members.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay, let's get to the event or events of Veterans Day. Tell us some of the things going on this week that you'd like people to know about.
Sure. So It all kicks off Thursday, the day before Veterans Day at 5 p.m., 1700 hours for the military personnel. The Air Force ROTC here at Utah State is doing a 24-hour prisoner of war and missing in action vigil. And so for 24 hours here at USU on the quad, there will be airmen who will be conducting that vigil through the night until 5 p.m. on Veterans Day. So that kind of kicks the whole thing off. It's going to be a great event. They've been doing it for years. It's tradition here at Utah State University. And I'm excited. This will be my first time viewing it and participating in it from a visitor's point of view. And our Executive Vice President, Robert Wagner, will be giving some opening remarks just prior to the kickoff of that prisoner of war missing in action vigil.
Okay, what else?
On Veterans Day morning at 7:30, we are going to be doing a run walk. It's a little over a mile long. It starts right in front of the Arc on Aggie Boulevard, and we are going to be following the Air Force and the Army ROTCs as they sing cadence and conduct a run around the quad to the backside of the quad. It's about a mile long, and once we get to the quad, we're all going to place flags along the quad in honor of Veterans Day. Later that morning at 11:30, we're doing a tribute to veterans. That will take place right in front of the south entrance of the Spectrum basketball center. There's a flagpole and a monument to veterans there, and we will be doing a tribute to veterans. That'll last about 15 or 20 minutes, and that goes immediately afterwards into a free barbecue for all. We are hosting a barbecue for anybody who comes, to include all veterans, and we're hoping that this will give an opportunity for community veterans to link up and to develop some camaraderie and some friendships with our USU student veterans. And also it will give an opportunity for anybody in the community to simply to thank a veteran for their service.
I notice also the College of Education has a food drive going on.
They do. That takes place at the same time as the barbecue. The College of Education is hosting it, and they will be donating all of the food items that they receive to the Cache Valley Veterans Association, who will have a representative here to receive those.
I know you had a nice tribute at halftime of the football game. That's already happened last Saturday. And so have we covered everything?
We almost have covered everything at the football game during halftime. We put up a QR code and the opportunity to be entered into a drawing to win a free $600 scooter, a motorized scooter, and that will be giving away. We will be giving that away during halftime of the basketball game on Veterans Day evening. So the last two events are the basketball game starts at 7 p.m. at the Spectrum, USU Aggies, and then at 7:30 p.m. there is the Veterans Day concert hosted by the College of Arts at the Danes Concert Hall at 7:30 p.m. And that wraps up a full day.
I see that Jenny Taylor's going to be the guest speaker.
That's correct.
Now, she's the widow of Major Brent Taylor, the major of North Ogden. He was the mayor and a Utah National Guard officer who died on deployment in Afghanistan. So it's a full few days of veterans events at USU. And, Andy, we appreciate you taking some time to help us understand it.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Let's get back to Jason and to Bill now.
Thank you, Craig. And thanks to our listeners. Please take some time to check it out. If you know a veteran out there, of course, let them know of this full day of events at Utah State University, Friday, November 11th, Veterans Day 2022. And again, that is Utah State University Veterans Resource Office joining up with the Cache Valley Veterans Association to invite veterans to campus for a full day of Veterans Day events. We'll be back with more For the People right after this.
This is Jace Allen with Allen Mortuaries. From our family to yours, thank you for voting Allen Mortuaries Best Funeral Home of Northern Utah and Best Funeral Home of Cache Valley. We sincerely appreciate the confidence and trust your family has given us over the past 83 years. When you trust us with the final preparations of your loved one, you get the kind of caring, personalized service you can only expect from a family-owned funeral home. It's our family serving yours. Voted Best Funeral Home of Cache Valley in Northern Utah, Allen Mortuaries. Then, now, always.
Happy holidays from Birch Creek Golf Course and Off-Premise Catering. For your company or business Christmas party, I invite you to choose Birch Creek's beautiful banquet room to host your Christmas party. Our banquet room can hold 150 guests with great parking and a beautiful view of Cache Valley. So when thinking company or business Christmas party, I invite you to choose Birch Creek and Off-Premise Catering. Call Birch Creek today at 563-6825 for information. And happy holidays from your friends at Birch Creek and Off-Premise Catering.
This is Ryan at My Mattress. We've teamed up with Ridgeline High School Booster Club to bring you the mattress warehouse sale of the year. November 11th and 12th at Ridgeline High School. My Mattress, Maloof, and Serenoni will have truckloads of mattresses, mattress protectors, sheets, pillows, accessories, Serenoni blankets, and more at blowout, rock-bottom prices. Don't miss this chance for blowout pricing from My Mattress, Maloof, and Serenoni. November 11th and 12th at the Ridgeline High School Mattress Warehouse sale.
I'm Larry Gelwix, the getaway guru for Morris Columbus Travel and Princess Cruises with the biggest cruise promotion of the year, including free open bar, free Wi-Fi, and free prepaid gratuities. Sail with Princess Cruises and get free. And for the best travel deals on the planet, give us a call at Morris Columbus Travel.
Come on and get away, Morris Columbus.
That's it for hour one of today's show, but stay tuned. If you missed any of our candidate spotlights over the last couple of months, from top of the ticket, which here in Utah would be the Senate race, Mike Lee and Evan McMullen, on down to even the county executive and county council races that are playing out and appear on your ballot, to our discussion of various questions on your ballot, from a question about renewing the RAPS program to support the arts, to this new open space bonding initiative that will allow Cache Valley, through a committee similar to the RAPS program, actually, to secure some open space for the future as development speeds up even more than it already has. Also, the constitutional amendment that will be on your ballot that I am an advocate for saying no to, just to send a message to the legislature that third time you ask us to amend the Constitution to give you more power, we're going to say no. We maybe shouldn't have said no the first 2 times. But third cycle in a row they've asked. I hope everyone says no. We'll recap it all with some highlights from our candidate spotlights and more in hour 2 of today's show, right after this here on KVNU Logan.